Hey everybody, welcome to What's Up Wednesday. This week I want to talk a little bit about a trend that we're seeing in this industry. Now, the safety industry is a very small, tight-knit industry, and the companies that do what Intuitive Safety Solutions does, we provide safety consulting and staff augmentation. We all know each other. The bigger companies, even the smaller companies, we get to know each other. We're friendly with our competitors. And we do talk a little bit about what we're seeing and the trends that we're seeing. And one really concerning trend right now is the number of people who are accepting job offers, confirming a start date, confirming that they'll be there, and then not showing up for their plane to fly to the job to mobilize, or just not showing up and not notifying anybody. And again, it's an extremely disturbing trend because it affects everybody. It affects the client, it affects us, it affects everybody. And more as well, I'm seeing people who I know have done this personally. I've seen it, and I see them posting on LinkedIn on a regular basis that they're looking for work and they can't find work and they need help. But yet at the same time, I know that they've done these things in the past, or they've drug up and left immediately without any notice for more money. So I thought a little bit about it, and I had Melinda post a survey on LinkedIn, and the question was, if you have committed to a job and get another job offer for more money, what should you do? And there were three answers: honor your commitment, take the better offer, or renegotiate. And I had some assumptions on what the answers might look like, but I was plainly blown away by the 23 respondents that voted. And I don't know if any of you watching this voted or not, and it doesn't really matter. I know that Leadership 101 teaches me that I need to approach this with curiosity, and what would be the reasons why you would take the other offer. And what comes to mind for me is family comes first, my family comes first, and I need to put food on the table, and it's best for my family. And I understand that. I get that. That does make sense to me. I also feel, though, the argument on the other side of my brain is that there's a right way and a wrong way to do that. I figured that the majority would say renegotiate, which we see on occasion, but not so much, surprisingly. And I think it's important to know that on most of these contract roles, the contract's negotiated with the client with rates, and then the pay rate is budgeted based on whatever the bill rate is. So there usually isn't a whole lot of room for negotiation. But then again, for somebody who's shown and earned it, I know that companies do that. So what surprised me was that roughly 43% said take the better offer. And I kind of grew up in the generation learning from the baby boomers that a handshake, looking somebody in the eye, making a commitment and handshake were really important. And granted, things have changed. Back then, people would work for one employer their entire career, and they would commit everything they had to that job, and at the end they might walk away with a pension. And nowadays people want things different, and they're not necessarily committed to stay with one employer for their entire career, and that's understandable. But I know more than ever employers are looking for long-term commitments from their employees, and they're willing to take care of those employees. So it's a two-way street. The thing is you got to find the employer who does truly care about you, and they're willing to help you grow and advance and increase your income and everything else. So again, that trend is worrisome to me, that almost half the people responding would just leave and take the other offer. And granted, again, we've seen it so many times where people just leave without any notice in the middle of a project where they made a commitment for the next year, and 3 months in they leave. And I think that another really disturbing trend is, instead of people saying, hey, I got a better offer, I'm leaving, they want me to start immediately, which we used to hear. Now we hear stories and excuses that don't add up, and oftentimes we find out later from somebody that that person did take another job. So I don't know if I have any deep thoughts out of this other than think about that. Taking that other offer when you made a commitment, is that the right thing to do? Does that match your values? Does it match the integrity that you want to represent? And again, that's a very personal and individual decision by each person. But I'll tell everybody watching this that if you ever work for us, we're going to treat you tremendously well. And we would really hope that you wouldn't do that to us. So I'd love to see the trend end. And I'd love to see people talk about this topic and try to reverse the direction it's going. But hopefully you get something out of that, and we will see you next Wednesday.